It is the technology show where we translate geek into. There we go, back on the screen. So, super fun week, or couple of weeks actually, that I've been reviewing this toy. Well, let's bring it up. Let's get the show on the road. So, with things with a Z this week, I have to say that this is probably one of my favorite pieces of tech for the year, and definitely in my top five of, well, a long time. Now, that's quite a big statement given that I've been doing the show both here in Australia and beyond for, I don't know, 8, 9 years, 6, 7 years. I have no idea. Quite a while. I've been playing with technology for a hell of a long time. So just put a statement saying that this piece sits almost in my top five. Now, remember, my top five might be very different to your viewpoints, right? It's not what it costs and not what it does for you. It's what it does for me, and so on and so on. But when I take you through why I love this toy so much, then you could probably see why, for someone that does what I do in my day-to-day life, this is a great toy. So put your hands together for the Applaud Note, like Applaud, but without the app. And yet, ironically, there actually is an app, but it's called the Applaud Note. Um, and this is basically my new best friend. When it comes to meetings and calls, it's a credit card size note recorder that kind of not only looks slick and cool, but it's super clever. Now, for those watching, you'll see the screen. I'm actually going to hold one up so you can see. I mean, there it is. I'm trying to do the pose. Let's do the pose that I've got in my picture. There we go. Well, there's the back side. But yeah, it's really as a credit card size. It's super thin. It's packed with a 64 gig onboard memory chip, and it records calls and conversations as well as notes. Now, there's also a small toggle switch. You can see it over here. I'm actually putting mine up into red. So there we go. If I lean forward, you can see there's a bit of a red if you're watching. The picture just shows as green. The toggle switch moves up and down. Red is visible. It means that it's in call mode. We'll get to that. Get to that just now. And then down is for note taking. So why the two modes? This is where the Applaud Notes starts to get clever. So first off, if you have MagSafe, like on iPhone, you can actually place it into a really slick leather pouch. Now, if you can see, there's a picture on the screen. There's a little leather pouch. There's my Applaud. Just going to slide it in so you can see. And then using MagSafe, it's on the back of my phone. Okay, so it just sits there. I mean, if you're holding the phone, you won't even feel it. It's just feels like one of those little wallets that you get for MagSafe. It's the same type. And it connects back to your phone. It's perfectly positioned to listen to and record phone calls. It also has a setting to enhance the mic, and it can cut the noise. So the clever people at Applaud have also supplied the unit with a ring for phones that don't have MagSafe. So in the box, there's like this little round ring that can sit. Actually, it locates. It like magnetizes here, and then it clips onto a phone that doesn't have MagSafe. So you can stick that on the phone, and obviously that gives you the MagSafe, right? That's what I'm trying to say. So for Android users, don't worry, Applaud Note has your back too. Now, the note mode is ideal for if you just want to record a note for yourself as a to-do or an action point. Now, I know you're thinking, okay, so my phone has a recorder. What do I need all this for? And why does Brett rate this so highly? It's a bit weird when I start talking about myself in the third person when I'm sitting here. So I suppose if I click, I can show you. So it's really hard to see that screenshot. Like, I've tried to take a screenshot from the app, and I've actually got a conversation that's transcribing at the moment. So there it is there. If you're watching the show, you're going to see the different parts of the app, and I've tried to extract the text. But for those that are listening, I'm quite happy to describe it. So what it does is it actually does three things. So first of all, it records the audio, so you have the call or note saved for playback. Secondly, it transcribes the call or note. And then third, and this is where it becomes really super cool, using ChatGPT, it summarizes the call. so that at a glance, you know what the takeaway was from the meeting or the call or the note and what actions need to be done. Now, I used to sit in the meeting writing tons of notes. I mean, so many notes that I actually couldn't even read my handwriting most of the time. And then trying to find those notes a week or a month or even a year later was just a waste of time. You know, when you get these, oh, here we go. I mean, I still every now and then got a little notebook and yeah, you just write your notes. But now, I mean, this one is halfway full. I don't know. But if you had to say to me, oh, the meeting that you had on 20th of March, what was the outcome? I have no idea. Like I'd have to try and find the book that had a date. And quite honestly, I don't think I even write the dates in my notebooks, which is one of the rules that you should actually always do when you write notes in notebooks. That being said, I now record, I go into the file, I rename it to something relevant like notes for the technology show, and voila, it's there. Quick search, and I'm in it through the app to scroll up, and I found it. Now, there's so much more than a recorder and the design and size. It just makes it a conversational piece too, right? I mean, whoops, nearly dropped it. Like, you know, you walk into anywhere and you've got that on your phone. You go, oh, what's that in the back of your phone? And you take it off and you start talking about it. I actually went to a meeting this morning and I put this down on the table and I said, I'd actually like to record. That's what's transcribing at the moment on my phone. I said, I'd like to record this conversation. And I showed them the app and how it works and all these good things. Now, just on that note, you do generally have to ask people for permission if you're going to record them. So just bear that in mind. It's a privacy thing. If you're on a Zoom call or something, and you want to record the call, it's etiquette and it's probably the right thing to do just to tell people you're recording the call. That's why you'll see like on Zoom, it says this call's being recorded. It's just to let you know. Some people do have a problem with you recording stuff. You might be in a sensitive call. So just bear that in mind. But if you have a lot, like if you have a lot of calls and a lot of meetings like I do in a day, this is why I got so excited about this product. So I went to the meeting this morning. It was a workshop. So it was nearly 3 hours. Now I've written some notes. I had a PowerPoint presentation, but I've already listened to some of the playback. And just having the Applaud notes sitting on the desk, it picked us up. We were sitting in different parts of the room. So I'm going to get a summary. I'm going to have transcribed notes, which I can copy and paste and put into a document and send that as a summary to the client. So if you have a lot of calls or meetings, or just like to talk to yourself about ideas or things. In fact, I want to just give you a quick, I actually have to read it because it's here on my phone. So I wrote note for the demo on the technology show. There it is. It transcribed it. It was only a 45-second note, but here's the kicker. ChatGPT, subject, best tech show to follow for cool technology and entertainment. The show provides a screenshot demonstration to engage viewers. That's what's up there. It offers a comprehensive summary of the latest technology trends and updates. I'm hoping I do that. The host is knowledgeable and entertaining, making the show enjoyable to watch. Gee, thanks, ChatGPT. Is a reliable source for staying informed about upcoming tech innovations. The show also provides a good dose of humor related to technology, and viewers are encouraged to follow the host for regular updates and entertainment. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks, Applaud Note. So that's what it does, and that's probably why, in my opinion, this is probably one of the best toys I've played with this year. I've done a lot of headsets. I've done some cool gadgets. I did chunk keys like to manage meetings. I did the hover bar stand that held my iPad. I mean, I've got lots of cool tech that I get to play with. I'm really fortunate. But in my day-to-day life, I need to take notes for every meeting that I go to. I need to be able to summarize my meeting. I need to be able to sometimes send a summary of the meeting to the client as well, so that there's an action point, and then also to use those notes for the agenda for the follow-up meeting. This saves so much time. So if you have a lot of calls or meetings, or like to talk to yourself, as I said, this will be your new best toy in your toy box. Now, they're actually about to end their Indiegogo campaign. So it's not actually available yet. I was fortunate enough to be sent one to review. And you can go to Indiegogo and search for Applaud Note, Plaud. I did create a bit.ly link. I think it's up on the screen as well for you. So just bit.ly, bit.ly /Applaud AUS. because I'm in Australia. A lot of thought went into that. So Plaudaus. That will take you straight through there. The campaign's going to close off soon. I think they're looking at shipping in October. So yeah, get in, get yourself one at a good price. Absolutely brilliant technology for someone that does a lot of note taking or recording or conversations or secretarial services. So yeah, thanks to everyone over at Applaud Note for letting me get to play with this. Well, before anyone, I suppose. Well, not anyone. I'm sure other influencers have played with it as well. Um, last thing I actually forgot to point out, you don't have to take it out of its case to charge. It's got a little, it uses the magnetic charger. Now, I have moaned before about different chargers needed. And if you're looking at what's going on in the EU about everyone moving to USB-C, I have to say, though, it does make sense that there wasn't a USB-C on this device. It would have made it unnecessarily thicker. It is a magnet. It's got like a 30-day standby. It also, it's so it just connects a magnet. It charges pretty quickly. It told me on the app that I had about 19 hours of battery left. I haven't charged it since I started using it. And as I said, there was a 64 gig memory. The other thing is, it saves on the device, and then you can transfer it across to your phone or your PC. What was really clever, so it transfers via Bluetooth, or connects, sorry, right, via Bluetooth. But when you want to transfer a file, a little window pops up that says rather use Wi-Fi. So you can actually connect to the inbound Wi-Fi on the device as well, and then use Wi-Fi speeds instead of Bluetooth to transfer. So even that they thought of. So it comes across quickly. Once it's on your phone well, it's not on your computer. There's no app for the computer. It's iOS or Android, but you can email the transcript yourself, like I did over there. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to get the screenshots to show you. So yeah, bit.ly/Plaudaus, Plaudaus, or search them on Indiegogo. But 10 out of 10 stars for me on this one. Right, what we got next? That would have been tech things with a Z. Onto tech news. Okay, so staying with AI. So Google had its Google Cloud Next 2023 event this past week. As would be expected, a lot of AI discussions. There were some really cool new features that they're going to be bringing to cloud. And of course, AI would be front and center. The one that really stood out for me as a Gmail user was Duo AI. Now, Duo AI was introduced, I think, last year on the Google show, where it kind of, I think it can even phone and make bookings for you and stand in a queue for you and using AI. So it's a tech that's been around for a while that they've been working on, but they've now brought it into Gmail as a new AI companion. So what they would do is it actually helps you draft and customize emails. Now, if you've received Gmail, even if you go into LinkedIn, or it always makes those suggestions, right, with quick answers. Gmail does the same thing. It's got these little quick answers, which are not ideal for email. No one just sends that, okay, cool. That's text. So this now will actually reply using the smart reply feature. It will draft a longer email. It will draft a more personalized email because it's now looking at the way you write. And basically, yeah, it does make sense because the whole idea of AI is that it's supposed to be there to speed up and make our lives simple. I haven't played with the feature. I do believe that there's a beta of it already. Haven't played with it, so I can't vouch for it. But I watched the keynote and it was pretty cool. If you're watching, you'll see the screenshot. It actually brings up a summary. It says a summary of this email, exactly like what I was just talking about with my Applaud note, and then suggestions. So what should you do, or you need to create a summary of this, or so. So it gives you action points and then helps you draft the replies as well. So definitely something worth following and worth watching. And we'll probably start to see more of that rolling out as we go into 2024. Scientologist. So I have a picture of the e-meter up on my screen, in case you're listening to the show, not watching it. So Scientologists have now lodged an objection to the right to repair laws in the United States. So the Church of Scientology has written to the U.S. Copyright Office regarding a law, or regarding a section of the law that talks about the right to repair. Now, if you haven't been following right to repair, it's been quite a contentious issue for years when it comes to technology. And that is because people will buy a product. So let's say they go into I don't know, and they buy a Dell computer, something goes wrong. But if you open it and try and fix it yourself, there's always these like little stickers or pen marks or paint marks that will show that it's been opened and tampered, and therefore your warranty is void. So the right to repair law has been tabled, and basically big brands can't penalize us if we want to repair things ourselves. Brands have helped you order like home kits. So let's say you crack the screen of your iPhone, you can get a kit sent with a little rubber to pull it off and a little scoopy scoop thing and a new screen and so on. So the brands are starting to come around and start working towards helping you to repair at home or have your own right to repair. And I think COVID accelerated the passing of that law. Now, back to our Scientologist friends. So the letter is opposed to the renewal of this subsection that allows consumers to circumvent software locks in order to repair their devices. The church is apparently concerned that the right to repair will allow its infamous, how do you pronounce it, electropsychometer or e-meter. Let's stick with e-meter. Electropsychometer or e-meter, which the church uses for its auditing process, to actually be pulled apart and examined. Now, e-meters allegedly measure the. I'm laughing because I have to read this shit because I can't really make it up. E-meters allegedly measure the spiritual state of a person to locate areas of spiritual distress. Now, the right to repair advocates say it could expose the church's secret e-meter power source. There is no secret e-meter power source. I personally think it runs on Tom Cruise's money and stupidity, but anyway, we can get one and break it open. I was, however, thinking about it when I was reading through this as well, is that the scientists are actually more confused than flat earthers in this regard, because the right to repair has actually nothing to do with getting something and breaking it open. To see, if I want to see what an e-meter has on the inside, if I could get one, I just get one and break it open. It's got nothing to do with the right to repair. I'm not looking to repair it. I'm looking to examine it. So as confusing as their ways are, so is their request or concern, rather, in penning this letter. So, yeah. Oh, well, they're Scientologists. Next. Error. Okay, so Twitter. So I refuse to call it X. It's Twitter. It will always be Twitter. I don't care if he changes the bird or the logo. I've made a point that it's Twitter. So Twitter now is looking to collect users' biometric and employment data. I wonder if they've been speaking to the Scientologists, because they do the same type of stuff as well. Anyway, so Twitter wants to start collecting our biometric and employment information. They said the changes have not currently been implemented and will only come into effect at the end of September. But they actually have updated their privacy policy. Now, no one reads these freaking things, but there's a reason why you should read them, because when you read about this, thankfully someone has read it, brought it to our attention. So if you are still sitting on the fence about deleting a Twitter account, this might be the thing that tips you over. Because the details, how in the privacy policy, it now details how it's going to collect and process user information. It says that the company may store, I love that. We may store and use biometric data for safety, security, and identification purpose. What happened to my email or two-form factor authentication to identify who I am? It's not clear, though, that Twitter plans to, it's not clear, sorry, how Twitter plans to use this information. So, yeah, I mean, they're just trying to alienate us even more. I think this screams invasion of privacy. I know they're hiding behind terms and conditions. I know that every single big tech company out there hides behind terms and conditions. And, we were talking about this just the other day. If you get something like, let's say you're updating something, or you get an email that says, oh, you need update, and you don't agree, you don't get the update. It's not like you can send a message back and go, actually, subsection 2.3 clause 9, I'm not happy with, and we can negotiate it. It is that is what it is, and you have to accept it. And 99.99% of people will just hit the agree button. I'm one of them. I've always said on the show as well, I've got nothing to hide. Don't really care what happens to my data. I do, however, wonder why you would want to collect my biometrics and my employment history. Like, it doesn't make sense. You want my employment history? Write an API or webhook, go to LinkedIn, and you'll see what I'm doing. So yeah, this is actually the stuff that stand-up comedians dream of. I mean, Elon, I have no idea what you've been thinking, mate. Seriously, like the last 12 months have just been 12 months of stupidity. You've done some really, really crazy things. But this might be the one that actually pushes you over the tipping point. So I feel sorry for their new CEO. She's come on and she's just been handed, well, not a hot potato, she's just been handed a whole bucket of warm poo. So yeah, if you don't read terms and conditions, and you are a Twitter user, I think they said 29th of September, something like that. We will now be allowing Twitter to take our biometrics. Now, the biometrics, sorry, I just seen a thing pop up. What are the definition of biometrics and what biometrics can they take if I don't give them any? Well, if you use an iPhone and you use Face ID and then you use Face ID to unlock your Twitter account, you giving them biometrics, or Touch ID if you're using a thumbprint. So if you're not using an iPhone, or even if you're using an iPhone with thumb, you're giving them biometrics. So that's the definition of biometrics. So if you've linked a biometric unlock to the Twitter app, they are now saying they can actually use that biometric. How and for what, who knows? I mean, some nefarious reason. Um, and then also, obviously, they can now read your employment. I'm still not sure how the employment thing works, unless it is exactly what I've said. They're going to just go into LinkedIn and look at it and then match it up to you in your profile. But I mean, they can do that anyway. They don't have to go make a hoo-ha about it. Oh well. So I think that brings us to the end of tech news. It does. Are you game? This one confused me. It excited me and then confused me at the same time. So Netflix games is already an intriguing offering, given how Stadia from Google has just recently shuttered. There's been a couple of come and goes in this mobile screen TV space. But I saw an announcement for Netflix game remote on iPhone. So I went to get it, and I got it. And if you're watching, there's a screenshot. It's called the Netflix game controller. Connect your TV to play, and it doesn't work. Um, Now, Netflix has actually built some cool games and some interactive offerings, and I just couldn't find anything to try the remote on. I assume it's in beta because, well, I think I read up it is in beta, and if it's in beta, it's probably only available in the United States, and probably only available on certain machines. But I tried a VPN to put myself in the States. Maybe I've got the wrong technology. I don't know. Um, I doubt it. I think my tech's pretty good. So yeah, I this is what I was going to do for this week in RU game. I was going to like revisit some of the cool Netflix games, but using this new Netflix game controller. And if you are looking at the show, you'll see it's like they've built it to look almost like a very simple Sega, with XYBA configurations that we used to on Xbox and PlayStation. Well, PlayStation's got shapes, but you know what I mean. But it doesn't work. So anyone from Netflix that can maybe shed some light as to A, when I can play, because I like to, B, what games it will work on, and C, most importantly, what devices are you going to let it work on? Or do we just have to sit and wait and then if it ever sees the light of day, boom. But for this week's RU game, I have a remote app on my phone that's probably as useful as a fax machine is to me. Q&A. Q&A. I did see something. I earmarked this question because I was to my Google Cloud and I was actually watching some of the keynotes in Cloud. By the way, I have said this a few times. If you're into technology and there's a keynote, please watch the keynote. I mean, I don't want to lose people jumping on the show and asking me questions and that, but these keynotes are really good. Like it's geek porn, right? Apple's put an announcement that on the 12th next week, so next week Tuesday here in Australia, early hours of Wednesday morning, the 13th, they call it Wonderlust. There's all kinds of rumors flying around as to what may or may not be shared. It's normally their best event of the year. They have like 3 during the year. There's always some cool stuff, but the September event is usually the best one. So watch it. Like anyway, so because of watching Google Cloud, here's a question I thought which is really good. Is cloud storage better than an external drive? So it's a great question. And the simple answer, in my opinion, is yes, but it's always a but. The reason I say yes is that the backup is safe, assuming you're on a trusted cloud provider. Right? Now, that's probably a different discussion for another day, and we can even maybe do a review on some of the different cloud providers out there, like the well-known ones like Google Drive or Apple's iCloud. Those are safe and secure and available from any device, and the chance of them going anywhere are probably zero. If Apple or Google servers ever go down, I think the world's gone down. But well, there's the but again. But you have to pay a monthly subscription for those services, so they're not free. Like I think Google will give you, it's changed. I think it was 5 or 15 gigs free. I can't remember. And Apple gives you 5 gigs free on iCloud, and then you have to pay for it. So the problem is if you stop paying for a subscription, you potentially lose everything that's saved in the cloud, right? Which negates the whole purpose of a backup. And external drive is a one-off cost. You back it up, you store it on premise. The problem is that you could lose the drive. The drive could get corrupt. What happens in 20 years from now when the drive doesn't connect to any of the devices we have, like how we're talking about changing adapters and connectors? I mean, let's put your hands up, not that I can see any of you. But how many of you have a built-in CD or DVD drive on your laptop if you bought the laptop in the last 3 years? And you don't have to put your hands up. None. So, all those people 10 or 15 years ago that were writing to CD or burning to DVD storage probably still have those discs somewhere. But now you've got to actually try to find somewhere to play them. And even if when you do play them, they're 15 years old, do the apps even work that were on there? So, the cloud will always be accessible. It's browser based. So it's really a hard one to answer. I'm going to give an opinion or a thought process that will hopefully help the person that asked this question. So it depends on what you are saving. If it's precious memories of a wedding or baby's first steps, I would suggest saving it in both. Take a small paid cloud with your preferred supplier, Android, Google Drive, Apple, iOS, or if you're on Apple, you can still get Google Drive. That's up to you. Stick it in the cloud. I think plans start at like just over $1, maybe $2, and they give you 50 gigs. It's more than enough to put quite a lot of photos actually. And then maybe even if you don't want to get like an external drive, just get a little flash drive and put them on there and clearly label it. Wrap it up in a like airtight container and seal it and put it away. I'll put a few of them in there. But it's a great question. It's a hard question to answer. I've got a couple of minutes left before I need to sign off the show. So what I'm going to do is just address what I mentioned about the right drive. There's a lot of offers out there for 1 terabyte for only $199 lifetime, blah, 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 or 10 terabytes or unlimited storage. I'm not saying that they're all bad. I would just be cautious because the model of sustainability requires a recurring income, right? So if you have a subscription service and you're getting your $2 a month from 2 million people, you have money to pay for electricity to keep the drives going, the hard drives of the servers. When you pay someone $150 once off and they don't get any other form of revenue in year 3 or year 4, what happens? So, and again, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just suggesting that just do the research on the cloud provider. There are some good deals out there. You can even look at Dropbox. Dropbox has been around for ages. They give you free storage. They have a subscription model. But as long as there's a subscription model, it means that there's revenue coming into the company. So that's what I meant about, assuming a trusted cloud provider. I think maybe the word trusted might have been a bit unfair. An intelligent cloud provider, or at least a business savvy cloud provider, one that, I remember being a member of a gym in South Africa where we paid a debenture. So we all paid money up front. We could use the gym as much as we wanted. The debenture was 10 years, and in 10 years, you're going to get your money back. Year 8, they slammed against the wall. We didn't get our money back. But you know what? I got 8 years of gym and squash and all the other good stuff. I got my money's worth. But the point that I'm making, that's the lesson I'm sharing, is when you have no additional income coming in, but you've got continual costs, staff, electricity, servers, one's going to give. So hopefully that answers it. Yeah, again, check out Applaud Note, bit.ly/PLAUDAUS, Applaud Oz. That was what it was. Yeah, that takes me to the end of it. So I guess then until next time, keep your screens clean and your knobs shiny.